that removes a lot of pressure, doesn't it? It's like you don't
Oh,
have to have the Instagram worthy life and this facade.
oh, we're a whole lot of wounded souls raising and nurturing other wounded souls.
Oh, yes, that's
And
powerful.
so let's take care of ourselves and get into how do you feel about yourself? Because if that's really where integrity lies, I think it's where the accountability lies. I think when we realize we're not being selfish when we take care of ourselves, we're actually being very, very, very intelligent.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Rocking Midlife podcast. And I have a very special guest with me today. Carol was kind enough to invite me on one of her amazing summits at the end of last year. And honestly, when you meet some people and your heart just sings and there's a connection, well, this lady was it. And I've just literally asked Carol, what's on your heart? And I'm going to let her dive straight on in. And we're going to be talking about grace. And later on, I'll tell you a bit more about Carol. I'll have all her links and everything in the show notes. But this is as organic as it gets. So, Carol, take it away, girl.
Kat, it is so wonderful to see you. And I love that we got to visit a little bit pre-show.
Yeah.
Hello to your wonderful audience. It's a privilege to be here with your lovely host, our lovely host, Kat. Um, we were talking a little bit about midlife and
Mm-hmm.
what goes on in that situation. And the very first thing that comes to my mind is that it's time to allow yourself and others in midlife a little bit of grace.
Yes.
It's time to take a nice deep breath and say, you know what? Wow, a lot has gone on, and here we are. For women in midlife, my goodness gracious, the hormone story, it's so much of our story. I know that's a different conversation. However, it is the truth. It is as if there is a personality that changes on a regular basis that lives within us.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
It's very incredible.
Yeah.
And we can literally look at that personality, this hormone personality that changes and as just this enemy and this alien that is within us, because that's truly a choice and very justifiable, and or this inner personality that empowers us as women to pause often
Mm.
and think how we want to respond in our next word, our next action, our next phone call. I have a dear friend, and she said her kids, they said she needed to have a lobotomy. They said, we don't know what's going on here, but you've gone completely crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
And she said, I felt, she is on the other side of this midlife and,
Hmm.
what everybody's referred to as the change or whatever.
Yes.
She said, now looking back, I understand what they were talking about
Mm.
because there's been such little conversation about what goes on with us hormonally and this alien within. In the olden days, I love to call things in the olden days, as my mother, there was no grace given for these crazy mood swings. They are
No.
real.
Yeah, you just got to get over it and get on with it, don't you?
That's right.
Yeah.
And depending on where that took place, let's say a not very good mood swing took place, you're now dealing with the aftermath of something you said or did, or worst case scenario, literally screaming came out of your mouth. So whatever
Mhm.
you were saying was heard. It was just, that's a crazy person.
Yeah.
And so I think that we have moved along far enough that it's time to give grace to ourselves and anyone else that has experienced that part of midlife.
Mm.
And I think we start having open conversations and get curious about different ways, whether those ways include or do not include medicines or, you know,
Yeah.
what do we
Meditation
call
or
it?
whatever.
Supplements
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is. I think that's great if that's part of it.
Yeah.
I think we need to share stories on how did we deal with it, and was there a time, did we have enough information to be looking for the signs of this happening?
Mm-hmm.
And so that we were then ready to understand our
Ups and
roller
downs and
coaster.
yeah, roller coaster is the right word. I think that's a really good point. Because, yeah, we talk about a lot of the physiological things, don't we? Night sweats and weight gain and insomnia and all of
Yeah.
that sort of side of it. But we don't talk much about the emotions and even less about the impact of our emotional dramas and whatever else is going on inside of on others around us.
And I think that what's happened is we've also reached a day and age that parenting is happening at a later age.
True.
There's a big percentage of women that are choosing to have kiddos later. So that means this midlife moment could happen when our kids are pretty young. And I hopefully, because we're having more and more conversations about it, that they will realize, oh goodness, I'm going to take some of the wisdom that I've learned in these conversations. And I think you have to take more time out, almost set an alarm, if you will. I have an alarm that goes off every day at 3 o'clock to remind me to reset for the day. Sometimes my days are long. I love a long day because when I say long, I mean, I've just gotten as much life out of it as I
Yeah.
possibly can. And I might have new meetings at night and all that kind of thing. But I feel like we need to get tools that literally, like an alarm,
Mm-hmm.
that say, okay, stop. Are you hungry? Are you in the middle of a sweat? Do you feel like crying? What do you need to do to continue calmly, regardless of what's going on with your hormones? And have you experienced kind of an extreme reaction to something that really was not, you made it bigger than it is?
Mm.
Because I think that's what's happened. It's like something, and you're like, oh my gosh, this can't happen. And it's just anything that used to be a normal something to deal with becomes very extreme.
Yes. Yes. When you've got
And
all these other factors behind your reaction. Yeah.
yes, because we are literally having to figure out how to deal with mental and physical changes that are up and down every day. There might be one day with none, day for that day. However, usually life is, oh goodness, something for within ourselves or with someone else that we love. There's something going on that's not easy. And here's the thing. Those of us that have been fortunate enough to make it to midlife. I wish I was in midlife, but I'm on the other side of midlife. Less road ahead than behind. And so I'm going to make the most out of this road ahead and live in amends for the things I didn't do right in my
Yeah.
midlife, because I was dealing with the personality of somebody I didn't know within me. And so now I think having these conversations and figuring out tools, I believe that part of the grace, and I do believe you've earned it, when you get to midlife, you have earned the right. And I don't care if there are 1,000 things that you did not get done that you had hoped to get done. You made it. And we need to start from where we are. If we don't start from where we are trying to change something in our past that we cannot change.
Oh, absolutely. And regret is an empty emotion.
Regret, guilt, the shame spirals, all
Yes.
of that. And it's very hard, I mean, to even try to get out, much less as it's swirling. And so I do believe grace. I think grace is offered 24/7. I think most of us faster and more willing to offer grace to other people before we offer it to ourselves.
Oh, yes. Say that again for the people in the back row. Say that
I
again. That's
do
so
believe
important.
that most of us are willing to share grace with others before, and maybe never before, we share it with ourselves.
That is so, so true. We beat ourselves up, yet we would have forgiven somebody else in an instant for the same mistake. It's incredible.
It's incredible. It is, it's absolutely incredible. And so what I really, over the past, I'm going to say over the past 4 or 5 years, I've focused a lot on the words, when we take care of ourselves and do things for ourselves, mental health, physical health, things that keep us sane during midlife and keep us on a good, once we get over it, keep us present and moving forward. That's really a gift to other people. What we do for other people is a gift to ourselves.
That's lovely. That is really powerful. How did you learn this?
You know, when you think about grace, first of all, I think that, and a lot of what I do, and complete respect for anyone of any faith of love and light, complete respect. And my faith, it's Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And I realize in one of our prayers, it's called the Lord's Prayer, forgive others as we would like to be forgiven. Think that one of our commandments is love others the way you love yourself. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, I think all of us think we love others better than we love ourselves. So we can't skip out on the part of loving ourselves. We want to share the grace that we hope to receive. We have to give it to ourselves as well. When we give ourselves grace, we are literally, it is almost as if we were making an emotional deposit that we can withdraw from to give to other people. It's so funny. You do something nice for someone and it's all about thank you, and you're so nice, and you're all these, you're receiving a whole lot of accolades. And so what you've just done is that gift has come right back to you, but it's about what someone else feels about you. So for momentarily, you might get confused that that's how you feel about yourself. Next thing you know, you're beating yourself up. And so you're thinking, I'm going to do more for other people. I'm going to be more for someone else. I'm going to give, and skipping out on what's really a gift to them. And that is us being accountable, allowing ourselves grace, forgiving ourselves, being very intentional of taking care of our mental, spiritual, emotional, and, physical health. That's the real gift, because then we can show up because we've got all these deposits that we have now to share with one another.
I mean, that's so powerful because it takes away the pressure of looking for the accolades and the external success and pats on the back and emotional building type thing. And it just, that removes a lot of pressure, doesn't it? It's like you don't have to have the Instagram worthy life and this facade.
We're a whole lot of wounded souls raising and nurturing other wounded souls.
Oh, yes, that's powerful.
And so let's take care of ourselves and get into, how do you feel about yourself? Because if that's really where integrity lies, I think it's where the accountability lies. I think when we realize we're not being selfish when we take care of ourselves, we're actually being very, very, very intelligent, accountable. And I'll have the audience, your wonderful audience, and you, Kat, consider this. And it's a question. And the question is, are we taking taking care of ourselves in a manner that we are in hopes of our children or our partners or our loved ones or our friends, when we hope they're doing for themselves? Are we doing that for ourselves?
Yeah.
Are we the example of how to take care of yourself? I'm going to tell you, there was a long time my answer to that question was 20% of the time, maybe. And I wanted to reverse that.
That's quite confronting, Carol.
It was an eye-opener for
Yeah.
me. I thought, oh my gosh, this is not how I want my kiddos to deal with something like this. So I better start walking the talk. And so all of a sudden, you lose hypocrisy. You know, you're walking your talk and your integrity with yourself. All of a sudden, when we are in leadership with ourselves, other people are kind of paying attention and they're like, what did you do? And you know what? I realized where I wasn't being accountable.
How can somebody start, practically speaking? How would they recognize that they're not doing that, and how would they start changing things?
Once again, I'll go straight to prayer. There is a prayer, and it's called the Serenity Prayer. Many people know it. And God, please grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I believe it begins with acceptance and then the courage to change the things I can. So you have to be honest and become aware. When you look at that list, the only things we can change are our decisions and our actions and our words and our boundaries or whatever it is. We can change those things, and the wisdom to know the difference. I do believe that that is just very a foundational daily prayer. All my grandkids say that with their prayers at night now. I have two beautiful,
Gorgeous.
like I have so many. I have these two beautiful grandbaby girls, but that is part of the prayer. And because then we have all of a sudden what we're really saying is, please, dear God, help me be accountable. Help in the present moment, just do the next right thing and the next right thing. Anything I could go into a shame spiral about from the past, do it differently, chalk it up as let's just put that down. Exactly, again, what would we tell our loved ones to do with a mistake, horrific or small? We would say, we cannot do anything about that. Let's just surrender it. And here I will say this, Kat, it's the surrender, the practice of surrendering those things. Those things keep coming up.
It's not a one-off, one and done type deal, is it?
No, it is the practice of surrender, and just keep putting it. Trust me, whether we pick it back up by choice, either way, it's almost like, again, it's like a live thing that jumps up into your brain. You're going to surrender it again.
Yeah.
And surrender and surrender and surrender. And the next thing you know, it becomes habit. I mean, a dear friend of mine said, okay, and her name's Susan. We call her Suna. And we used to say, shatter the picture, just like a mirror. When these thoughts from your past that you can do nothing about, and it said, what if, and you should have, and you know, all these what ifs and should haves. When that appears, shatter like a mirror, and just, in my faith, I mean, my mantra is, Jesus, I trust in you. I'm not trying to wash the thought, but I just say it over and over and over. And next thing you know, I'm doing something productive. It's going to come back up and I'm going to surrender it again. I hope. Hey, 2 times out of 10, that's better than 0. It's just, again, it's why I set my alarm clock. And so how do we do this? And y'all, this is a very practical way, regardless of your faith. I really believe this. And I'll say it a little differently. Help me surrender the things I cannot change. Give me the courage to change the things I can. And that is, am I going to spin off into that past story, or I'm just going to get a change would be get present and do the next right thing. And the wisdom to know the difference. That wisdom to know the difference gets us out of, I'm going to call it victimhood. Again, it's all about being accountable. Is it fun to be accountable all the time? I don't know. I'll tell you what it is. It's very freeing. I don't know that fun's the right word, because there's a lot of hard work in there. You know, I'm old enough now that I kind of enjoy the hard work. And when I don't, I just try to do something good for myself. Again, back to give the gift to your loved ones by taking a nap during the day. We're back to those of us in midlife. Set your alarm. You deserve a 20-minute power nap if you need one. Walk around the block and not commit an hour and a half to exercise. You get to do little things and realize the importance and the impact. I'll ask you another question. Do you want your children, your loved ones, your friends, your grandchildren, whatever loved one you want to pick, would you share with a loved one that walking around the block one time during the day is better than no movement at all outside that day, and wait 2 days and get an hour in?
I love what you're saying, because you're removing the need to do the big thing. I'm going to start
Yes.
the healthy eating. I'm going to start tomorrow and I'm eliminating everything. And you're
Yes.
removing that. And again, it's that word grace, which is funny because I used to use that word a lot, so much so that my daughter-in-law used to laugh at me and go, oh, it's that grace thing again, isn't it? And because, yeah, it's allowing yourself to do whatever you can in that moment, and that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You set an alarm, and when my alarm goes off, I stop. This is at 3 p.m. every day. It went off 3 hours ago. And I thought to myself, am I in a good place? Do I need to walk around the block? I did get some water. I did very small things, but I knew I got up from what I was working on. And let's face it, every single one of us, whether we are enjoying, I do love what you and I do. I love that cat. So I can. Next thing you know, I've been in a chair for hours.
Yes, I relate to that.
I need a tool. I tell other people, you need to get up and take a deep breath and stretch and walk around your desk, go downstairs, get some water. Well, I decided I wasn't going to be able to tell people to do that if I'm not doing it.
Oh, it's very true. Feeling the conviction even as you're talking here, Carol.
Yay. I mean, really, it's kind of fun. Am
Yeah.
I in any stretch of the imagination 100% on for that? No, but I am on 80%. And again, I use the 80-20 rule because there's such imperfection in anything. If I can get to 80% of the practices that I would love, giving myself grace, if I'm 80% with that, I feel pretty darn good about it.
Yeah. Instead of just
No,
beating yourself
great.
up that you didn't make the 100, which is
Oh,
how we often are, isn't it?
yes, allow yourself grace every single solitary day. Set an alarm sometime, whether it's time, the end of the night's time to go to sleep, or if it's in the morning, have after you wake up, have it go off in 5 to 10 minutes. So you start out with grace. I mean, allow yourself kind of like a meal. I love to say, many people call it grace before
Yes.
their meals.
Yeah.
That grace 3 times a day to check in. Have I allowed myself grace? And have I really shared that grace with everyone else I've come in contact with?
Beautiful.
Anyway, I could go on and on about midlife and grace and how
Yeah.
incredible Kat is. I thank you all so very much for the opportunity to be here.
Oh, look, I'm just absolutely thrilled, and I just love what you've just shared from your heart. And it's speaking to me as much as I'm sure lots of other people out there. And it truly is. It's kind of like the missing link, isn't it? In not enduring the roller coaster that midlife is, but in loving the ride and doing the ride to the best we can, and just being the best we can
Yes.
for everyone else too.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, something that gets my attention now, because I do really and truly practice this a lot. And it
Yeah.
was out of need. I try to give as much grace as I hope to receive, which means I need to give a lot.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And, when I hear or see or whatever it is, something that really is, I think, not okay, that someone is participating in or doing, I 100% try to, and let's say it's something hurtful, it's easier. I try to say, and let's pretend it was you and I, Kat, just because we're looking at each other.
Yeah.
I would say, I forgive Kat and I forgive myself as well.
Mm.
I forgive Kat and I forgive myself. Trust me, what we're doing when we think someone else is doing something completely wrong or different or whatever it is that we've decided, we've become judgmental instead of becoming curious. And with all my heart, I believe that I need to say, gosh, I forgive Kat and I forgive myself, because it may have hurt me, whatever this was, but I immediately was judging something, let's call it the behavior.
Yes.
So I'm going to forgive myself for that as well, for jumping to that. And who knows, it could lead to an incredible conversation of, I'm really curious here. I don't even know how to bring this up, but it grace, forgiveness of self and others. Remember, y'all, you must include yourselves. There could be something that led to whatever that was that never entered my mind. And so it might lead to, thank you for asking, because blank, blank, blank. And you're just like, wow. Next thing you know, y'all are closer. Let's say it was an individual, because of an honest conversation about something that wasn't good. Once you start giving yourself grace, again, take care of yourself physically and mentally. Really do that. I cannot stress enough the importance of what a gift that is to others. Anyway, I love thinking about it. I love talking about it. It helps me practice it more often, above and beyond that 8%. Because let's face it, there's going to be a 20%. I'll give y'all a very extreme example. And this is beyond my bandwidth, above my pay grade. I have a very dear friend. She rest in peace. And she, and I apologize if I go on about something that anyone has experienced. My dear friend was brutally murdered.
Oh.
One of 10 children. It was many, many years ago. I'm going to say it was probably 43 years ago now.
Yes.
And she was one of a beautiful, 10 sibling family. We worked together in real estate. Her smile just lit up a room. The most beautiful smile I've ever seen. A beautiful family. And she had 2 precious kiddos. Those precious kiddos are doing great. One of her brothers goes around now and speaks about the practice of grace and forgiveness, and what I would say most of us would consider an unimaginable situation.
Goodness, that's incredible.
It is unbelievable. And ripple effect of his practice of grace and forgiveness, unimaginable. The ripple effect and the healing and the stories that come from behind can only be considered miraculous. And I am only sharing that, first of all, if this has anything near to do with anything that of anyone that has experienced this, please know from the bottom of my heart, I'm so sorry that you have ever experienced this. I've heard him speak, and it's such a beautiful message, easier for me to receive because I've not been in that situation. And that's the only reason I'm bringing that up. But the reason I share the story is because I have witnessed firsthand what grace and forgiveness does to the human being that's sharing that with others.
That is such a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. Carroll, you're such a blessing. Thank you so much again for jumping on and just speaking from the heart. And I mean, I didn't even do your biography for everybody, but people listening in, Carroll is actually a phenomenal podcaster. She's a speaker. She's an entrepreneur. She also runs a construction company with her husband, and just a lady of many, many, many talents. But again, I will have all her links below in all the places where you're listening or watching this. And I just encourage you to go over and listen to this lady's wisdom and to her heart. So thank you again. And everybody, I will see you next time on the Rocking Midlife podcast.
Thank you, audience. Love and thanks to you, beautiful Kat.